What if kids see more than you say? What if they feel the feelings you thought were invisible? Many parents believe silence protects their child, but silence speaks louder than words. Your hand shakes at dinner. Your smile looks forced. Your sigh slips out when no one is listening. Children notice. They always notice. As Rumi said, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. Children live inside that quiet space. They hear what you don't say. Why? Because they haven't yet learned how to pretend. You laugh while hiding sadness, yet they feel it. You stay silent while holding anger, yet they sense the weight. They don't know the words, but they know the feeling. And here's the truth. When a child feels what you hide, they don't just notice it, they carry it inside. This is where it begins. The heart of a child becomes the hidden mirror of an adult. And now, you're ready to see through their eyes.
Why does a child suddenly grow quiet when you act like everything is fine? It's not obedience, it's connection. Emotions are like music. Adults try to turn the volume down, but kids hear the song behind the silence. One expert said, children are like weather sensors. They feel the storm before the clouds appear. When you frown at the bills, your child feels the air grow heavy. When you hide grief, they feel the room grow cold. When you keep secrets, they feel something is missing. They don't ask questions, they just absorb it. Think of water. Drop a little color into it, and slowly it spreads. That's what your hidden feelings do. They spread into your child's heart. You thought you were hiding it, but in reality, you passed it on. And one day, that hidden piece of you grows inside them. What grows inside them? That's the question waiting for you now.
Why do kids cry even when no one said anything wrong? Because feelings leak. They show up in tiny ways, through body language, small expressions, changes in tone. Psychologist Paul Ekman said, "The face never lies, even when the mouth does." Your child sees the tremor in your jaw when you're scared. They see the stiffness in your shoulders when you're angry. They sense the distance when your eyes drift away in worry. It's not magic, it's survival. Children are wired to notice emotions because your state decides if their world is safe. If you feel unsettled, they feel unsafe. Think of Wi-Fi. You can't see the signal, but you feel connected. Your emotions are the Wi-Fi your child downloads without filters. So when you think you've hidden sadness, you've really passed it on. When you bury stress, you've planted it inside them. And one day, those seeds grow, not into your story, into theirs. The question is, what story are you planting without realizing it?
Here's something most parents don't see. Kids don't just sense emotions, they make them personal. If you hide sadness, the child wonders, did I cause this? If you bury anger, the child thinks, is it my fault? This is how invisible wounds begin. When you don't explain, kids assume the problem is them. The philosopher Epictetus said, we are disturbed not by things, but by the way we see them. Children see your silence as proof that love has shifted, that safety is fragile. They cannot separate your world from theirs. Your sadness becomes their guilt. Your fear becomes their weakness. This is why even in loving homes, children carry heavy weights because they believe your hidden feelings are somehow their responsibility. And years later, those beliefs echo as adults saying, I'm not enough. I must be the reason things go wrong. But here's the hope. When you explain emotions instead of hiding them, kids stop blaming themselves. They learn emotions are human, not punishments. And the change begins the moment you choose honesty.
Have you ever seen a child draw dark pictures or play in ways that feel heavy? That's not random. It's their confession. Children don't sit down and say, I sense your sadness. They show you through drawings, through play, through sudden silence. Your hidden emotions always echo through their behavior. A calm home breeds laughter. A tense home breeds watchfulness. A silent home breeds confusion. Nietzsche once said, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties." Those invisible threads are your unspoken feelings. They tie themselves around your child's heart. The irony? You thought hiding your emotions was protecting them, but protection without words feels like punishment. What helps isn't being a perfect parent. What helps is being a truthful one. Imagine saying, "I'm sad today, but it's not because of you. It will pass." Suddenly, the monster under the bed is gone, because clarity takes away fear. And fear left unspoken becomes the heaviest inheritance. The question is, what inheritance will you leave?
Here's the danger. Children sense emotions, but they don't know the reason. So they make up stories. Stories where they are the problem. Stories where love feels fragile. And those stories grow into adulthood. Carl Jung once said, "Nothing has a stronger influence on a child than the unlived life of the parent." What you don't say becomes what they carry. Unspoken sadness, unspoken fears, unspoken dreams. Children don't just inherit your genes, they inherit your unfinished emotions. So when you hide sadness, they learn sadness is shame. When you hide fear, they learn fear is weakness. When you hide truth, they learn silence is survival. But what if you broke the cycle? What if you showed them that being human, flawed, emotional, real, was safe? Then they would grow knowing this: they are not the storm. They are loved inside it. And that knowledge rewrites everything.
Why do some kids grow into adults who always take care of others? Because as children, they learned to sense emotions early. They became watchers, peacemakers, healers, not by choice, by survival. Khalil Gibran once said, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls." These kids grow into adults who comfort everyone else while ignoring themselves. They become fixers, overachievers, helpers, not because they want to, but because childhood taught them, if I can sense the storm early, maybe I can stop the lightning. But no child should carry that weight. Empathy without balance turns into exhaustion. Compassion without care turns into pain. So the question is, when your child senses your emotions, are they learning strength or are they learning sacrifice? Because one creates healers who thrive, the other creates healers who bleed. The difference begins when you remind them, your job isn't to fix me. Your job is to be free. Freedom begins with your honesty.
Here's the truth. Children don't need perfect parents. They need honest ones. When you hide feelings, kids feel confused. When you share feelings gently, kids feel safe. Imagine saying, "I feel sad today, but it's not because of you. I'll be okay." That single line rewires their mind. Because silence turns into language, fear turns into clarity, and confusion disappears. Seneca once said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in our imagination than in reality." Children suffer most in their imagination. They fill silence with monsters. Your honesty defeats those monsters. When you share feelings, children learn sadness is temporary, anger is manageable, fear is survivable. Most of all, they learn love stays steady even in storms. So next time you're tempted to hide, remember this: silence creates fear, truth creates strength, and strength is the gift you can give forever.
Picture this: a child who sensed your hidden emotions grows into an adult who does not fear feelings. They become strong, they become kind, they become balanced. Why? Because you turned silence into story. You showed them emotions aren't weapons, they're weather. Storms that cast, winds that teach, rain that heals. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When parents show that truth, children inherit resilience. Instead of hiding sadness, you show recovery. Instead of masking anger, you show calm. Instead of burying fear, you show courage. The child senses it all, and instead of absorbing fear, they absorb wisdom. That's how cycles end. That's how families heal. One day, your child will thank you, not for being perfect, but for being real. And that brings us to the final choice waiting for you now.
Listen closely. Right now, your child is watching. Not your words, your heart. They sense more than you admit, and every storm you bury becomes a shadow in their sky. But it is never too late to bring light. Tell them what you feel. Give your emotions a name. Show them storms can be survived with love. Because when you share your truth, you don't just free yourself, you free them. Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom." When you live in that wisdom, your child learns. Feelings aren't shame. Feelings are strength. So today, choose courage over silence. Choose truth over performance. Choose connection over protection. Because your child doesn't need a flawless parent. They need a real one. And now, you're ready to rise.